Hey everybody, Matt here with the Most Adequate Collection, and today I wanted to talk about some of the TTM/IP projects that I'm working on. I'm sure most of you do, but for those of you who don't know, TTM/IP is through the mail/in person. So essentially, taking just regular sports cards and getting them signed by the individual player. So it's essentially anything that doesn't come out of the pack already signed, which is most cards really. But over time, I sent in a lot of TTM requests, got a lot back, and it kind of started, I guess, when I was just a kid. Early 90s, I sent a few out. I didn't send a ton, but a few. As a collector, we were aware that some players would sign through the mail. And of course, when you're a kid, you have to get stamps from your parents. And this was back when a lot of physical mail was being sent out. So I'm sure that they didn't want to use all of their stamps just for me to send baseball cards out to people who may or may not sign them. But I did send a few out, and just wasn't a lot. Got a couple back, but I really got into it when I started picking my collection back up the first time in the I guess the early 2010s. Is when I started buying a lot more product, more baseball, more hockey for sure. And then around 2015, I kind of started cutting back on purchases and instead doing something with stuff I already had. And I find that that's one of the best things about autograph seeking is it allows you to re-enjoy some of the cards that you've already opened. You don't, of course, get the thrill of what's going to come in the pack, but you can still use your cards for something more than just sitting in a box in the corner of a room or in a closet. And so I started sending more out, and as time would go on, I'd find myself sending out. If a player had a card available in a specific set, I always sent it out for that specific set. And the first one that I found myself doing this with is 2014, 2015 Fleer Ultra Hockey. Now this is back when Upper Deck had purchased the Fleer brand, so they were producing the cards, but still great looking cards. And I'll show you one of them. Well, I got a few that I'm going to show, but one of them in particular, I guess to kind of start things off and show you what I'm talking about, is this Sergei Bobrovsky. What I like about this is similar to cards that you would pull autographed. It kind of is framed in a way. So you have a little bit of the text on the bottom, player name and team. You got the photo here, but then right here, it's where the Fleer Ultra logo goes. It's kind of faded a little bit. So what I like is it similar to other cards that come already autographed. Is it almost seems like they're giving you that spot for them to sign. So in a way, as long as they put it in the right spot, you're kind of filling up that space that's already there. Which I really liked. And I sent a few of them out, and a lot of them came back looking great. Now, sometimes, especially when players get inundated with mail, they don't necessarily worry so much about location, look, the aesthetics of it. So they'll kind of sign wherever, but a lot of them found their way to put the autograph there, just like that one right here. Another one, and I found myself getting some good players too, like Bruins defenseman Zdeno Chara. He was signing TTM for a while. And the late Johnny Gaudreau, got him through the Flames. Not the best. That he didn't put the autograph in the spot where I'd prefer, but it is on a part of the card that does have a lot of white, so you can still see the signature pretty well. Then from the Blackhawks, I ended up getting Jonathan Toews, and then Patrick Kane. Now, remember at the time, there was speculation over whether or not these were ghost signs, so I'm not really sure, but if you look, you can kind of see the difference. The Toews autograph right here, right over the middle, versus the Kane where it's better placed and kind of that whited out surface. You can kind of see the difference between them. This one I got in person, so I was able to kind of specify where it went. We have Jason Pominville, Minnesota Wild. great looking, great position of the signature. Now, granted, it's not going across that whited out area, but placement looks great. It takes up space, and that blue really stands out in these cards. At that same signing, I also got Zach Parise to sign as well. So I got both of these taken care of at that same autograph signing in Minneapolis. Good positioning on this card. Blue ink looks great. Through the mail, one of the better through TTM signers over the years has been Roberto Luongo. And from my Pittsburgh Penguins, I've got a Pascal Dupuis. Blue ink right in the perfect spot. Looks great. Signature really stands out. Really pops off of the card. And then there's also this one of Vincent Lecavalier. Got a lot of enjoyment looking through these and kind of reminiscing about some of the ones I got, some of the ones I've forgotten about. And in some cases, like this card, I forgot that Lecavalier ever even played for the Flyers. But looks great. So I'm not quite sure. I suppose I could have looked up and seen percentage-wise how many of them I've gotten. I am, at this point, trying to go for the set as much as I can. But it's one of these things of where I don't know if I ever will complete it. I think it's a 200-card set, so it certainly isn't the size of it that would be the hindrance. It would most likely be just the possibility of getting them all. Because the big one, of course, from that set would be Sidney Crosby. Now, if I'm paying the money you would have to pay to get a Sidney Crosby autograph, the question is that the card that I would use for it? And I don't know. But it is one of these things. And with some of these TTM sets, when you're going for them, is the question of if it's even worth starting, because it's something that you most likely will never finish. And that is something that I'm kind of battling with. But the other one nearby to it, I also got a lot of 2013-2014 score hockey. And I like the look of it. It's kind of a basic look to the set, design to it. But as I've gotten a few signed, I thought they just looked really cool. I can't really explain it other than signatures seem to really stand out on these cards. You don't have the whited out surface like the Fleer Ultra, but I do think the signatures stand out in a really bold way, like this one of Nick Schultz. Now, some of it helps, of course, when the blue of the ink matches blue of the hockey sweater that the Oilers are wearing. But it looks great. Similar to the last one, we got Pascal Dupuis of the Penguins. Great looking card there. Even if it doesn't match up the team colors, I still like it just fine. And you have some, like this one of Craig Anderson, where he signed in silver. Some cases it doesn't always work, I think, because of the darker, bold colors of the black and red on the Ottawa Senators uniform. I think it works out pretty well. Then I've got Moorhead, Minnesota's own Matt Cullen, whose kids go to Moorhead High School with my two older daughters. And in the Moorhead High School hockey rink, there is a big banner of the different alumni from Moorhead that have gone to the NHL, and Matt Cullen's is of him hoisting the Stanley Cup as a member of the Penguins. So that's a really cool feature. Here's one of Mr. Carrie Underwood, Mike Fisher. Got that through the team back when he was an active player. And some of those work out well, but this is one of those sets where some of the cards really don't. What they did was they had team leaders cards, and they'd have just like a headshot of 4 different players with different statistics. Goals, assists, wins, and penalties in minutes. So you'll have 3 position players, I guess you could say, and a goaltender. Some of them repeat, but then the question is, if there's 4 players on the card, do you try to complete all 4 of them? Do you count it if there's just one? And that was kind of what I struggled with, is that wasn't quite sure how to handle it. You have an example like this one. I got Eric Stahl. He's on there twice, just signed it once. It was through the mail, so it's fine. I mean, I'm not complaining about it at all. But then what do you do with that? Do you try to get it to? Do you try to send it back to him and get him to sign it again? The other 2 players are Cam Ward and Yuri Tulisti. I don't know if I'd ever get them to be able to sign it either. So it's kind of an incomplete card. Now I do have this one a little bit further. I've got Zach Parise and Ryan Suter. So I got 2 autographs on this one. But similar to the other one, penalties and minutes was Zenon Konopka and Nicholas Backstrom. I think they're both European players who might not even be in the States anymore at all. So that's kind of what I battled with that. And then you also have their rookies, which look really cool. The card looks cool, but there's so much dark surface on here, especially if in this case you have a dark jersey, then they don't necessarily stand out in the same way. Now maybe I could get them. I mean, even I don't know. You could say that, well, in the black surface you sign it with silver, but then that silver is going to blend in with the foil of the hot rookies designation. So it didn't work, and it was. I guess sometimes it's an example of how time can kind of change our opinions and our goals and what we're really pursuing. Because I know at the time I was really into that set, but as I'm going through these binders and pulling out cards to show from both of those 2 sets, I had a certain reaction to seeing the cards from that Fleer Ultra and how great they looked, and I'm still excited about that set and getting more and the possibility of getting more of them. And then when I'm going through the score set, I like them, I just don't have that same reaction. So that might be one where I end up just kind of abandoning that set and just integrating those cards back into the team TTM binders. So we'll see. Third set from hockey. We've got this set that kind of started it all for me as a hockey collector. You could say the 90-91 Pro set kind of did it. I think just because they were more accessible. They were cheaper at the time. But what really got me into collecting was the look and the quality of that same year, the 90-91 Upper Deck. And I've gotten quite a few of those signed over the years. Like this one from Ron Hextall. Inscribed, I believe, best wishes, and then signed his name. Looks great. Takes up a lot of real estate with the ink. I love when they do that. I hate the small signatures that are barely even there. Show no effort. Puts in words. Really great looking signature. Blue ink really pops. Takes up a lot of real estate on the card surface. I absolutely love that one. Another great looking signature. Brian Hayward. Another goaltender. But wrote out his entire name on that signature with big loops on the B and the H. Looks awesome. Then great defenseman, Al McInnes. Same kind of thing. Big, long, full signature. Love it. And as I showed in my last video about the Miracle on Ice autographs, one of them was Neil Broaden, and I have his 90-91 Upper Deck card from him on the North Stars. Same good full signature, jersey number on there, blue ink really pops. I have this one from John Morris, where he signed it in green ink, which seems like an odd color, but that is one of the New Jersey Devils colors of that time, so it actually works. Not the most remarkable player necessarily, but something different. Green Sharpie. Now this one we have from North Stars rookie Peter Lappin. And if you're saying, well, I can't see a signature there, it's because he signed it on the back. Ballpoint pen, which is fine. I'm not bothered by that. And I'm glad. Aesthetically, it's weird because I have to put it in reverse when I put it in the binder. But at the same time, if he would have tried to sign that picture in a ballpoint pen, he might as well not have at all, because you wouldn't even be able to see that it was autographed. So in a way, I'm glad that he went that route with it. Similar to that, we have Reggie Lemelin and Andy Moog on this card. I got Lemelin to sign the card, TTM. And if you're saying you can't see that ink either, it's because it blends in. Yeah, not much you can do. It's kind of more of a completion type of thing. It's like he had a card in the set, get it signed by him. But there really isn't a great surface for him to sign in blue ink. You'd almost have to do like a silver, gold, or bronze Sharpie or paint pen on it, and it's a lot to expect someone taking time out of their day to sign for free, to be specific with that. So that's all right. It's on there. If you know the autographs there, you can find it and look for it. Similar to that is this team checklist of Brian Bellows. Blue ink. Oh, geez, I can't. Yeah, there you go. All right, put some light on it. You can kind of see the ink there. Just blue ink blends in with that blue background. Great looking card, though. But I don't know, maybe a black Sharpie would have looked better. But that's fine. I'm not going to complain about something I get for free. Now, opposite of that, you have another Al McInnes. And he signed the blue right over the red and the white of the Flames uniform. So it works out great there. One of my favorites that I've gotten over the set, one of the best defensemen of all time, Chris Chelios. Just a phenomenal looking card. The ink really pops out, big signature. You know who it is. Looks great. This one I got in person at a autograph signing hosted by Fan HQ in Minneapolis many years ago. But they brought back 6 former Minnesota North Stars goaltenders, one of them being John Casey. Signed his 90-91 Upper Deck card, and its signature is a little bit different, but it's all over here. The cool thing about that is he clearly did that so that his signature was entirely visible. Now, this is a paid signing, so of course, I might have requested that too. But the great thing with paid signings is you can be as specific as you want with the signatures. Lastly, is this Eric Nestorenko, Heroes of the NHL. And I don't know if this is kind of like an old-timers game or something like that. He's wearing a Blackhawks sweater. And I'm guessing it had to do with the All-Star Game. Because I think the All-Star Game was in Chicago that year. And so then maybe they brought back a team. I think what they did is a team of former Blackhawks players versus a team of former NHL players from all over. Nice thing here is that there's that light blue surface that just looks great for that autograph. There you go. I think what I was liking at the time was the idea of having one old set and one current set. Now, obviously, 2014-15 was 11 years ago, so it's no longer current. But it gives you a wider variety of players to pick from and to send to. And so the nice thing there is that it takes time. So you can go through one set, and by the time you're done with that, you go to the other one. By the time you're done with that, then you can revisit that first set and see if any of those players are signing again, or maybe someone got a job with a pro team, coaching or front office, to where you have an address to send to them now. So it's always, the nice thing is it's something you can always revisit. So that's kind of what I'm doing with hockey. Still definitely sticking with the Upper Deck. Still definitely sticking with the Fleer Ultra. And then I'm not quite sure about that score set. I think I might just abandon that one. Just because at a certain point, if you're finding yourself forcing to stick with something, then it's probably best to set it aside. Now, in baseball, on the other hand, there's really just the one set I'm looking for. And similar to 90-91 Upper Deck, it's the set that kind of got me started collecting. And this was from the year earlier with 1989 Topps. And I know a lot of people are going for this set. And I'll do what I can. But I just think they look great. For one, it's the first set that I started collecting. But two, I just like the look of them. Not everyone does, but I do. I like that look of the team on the bottom with the script writing with that swoop below it. I don't know what you'd call that, but it's similar. I know when I was in high school, it's similar to what people would have on the back of their letter jackets when they'd have their name back there. But this one I got of Rick Cerrone. I think he's 1 per for his TTMs, or maybe he charges after that. I'm not really sure, but just got the one. But it looks great. The ink really pops off of the card. Just looks awesome. I love it. Now, one of the best signatures I've got is from Vance Law, and I mean just the look of it. He really takes his time. He'll sign as many as you send to him. Takes his time, takes up real estate on the card, and it just looks awesome. I've got a few other cards of his, and they all look great. Now, those two are in blue ink, but even in black, I think the autographs look great on this set. Especially with the lighter color jersey, lighter color to the team. That black really pops off of that card and looks good. This one I got probably would have been like 5 or 6 years ago. spring training in Arizona, going to Cubs games. At the time, Fergie Jenkins was hosting for his to benefit his foundation autograph signings of former Cubs and other former major league players, and one of them at that particular time was Willie Wilson of the Kansas City Royals. And so I got that great looking signature, blue on blue. But even like the Steve Farr, where the blue really pops out of the contrast, even blue on the Kansas City Royals here, you can really see the signature, and it looks amazing. This one he used a thinner ink, but we got Hall of Fame manager Tony La Russa. But at least he signed over the pants, so that blue really stands out. Great looking signature. Now in this, they also have team leaders cards, which they would use just like I guess like a just something else. I don't know. At first I thought there was maybe a way to do the checklist, but they didn't do the checklist this way. But I got this one of Jamie Moyer, horizontal card, signed in blue ink. Looks great. Now sometimes you have to be creative. Turn back the clock. They would take old cards, old Topps cards, and kind of just do a write up of the player or what they did that season. And one of them I have from this set was from Gil Hodges, specifically his 1969 card. Now the issue is how do you complete a set signed if a player is no longer alive? And specifically, I don't think he was even alive when the set was produced. In the case of Gil Hodges, the way people got around that is his widow would sign. Not sign his name, but would sign on his behalf. So I actually sent to Gil Hodges' widow, and she signed this card on his behalf. And he even signed it kind of in that old-fashioned way. She didn't, being the wife, she didn't sign her name. She signed it as Mrs. Gil Hodges. So I love that. Ballpoint pen stands out just enough to see it, but a really cool way to kind of get around things. Lastly is one of my favorites. Player I kind of liked. He wasn't on the Cubs or anything, but he was a big deal at the time. Still a decent TTM signer, although he is strictly just one per request. But great looking signature, and that would be Will Clark, the Thrill. Signed his number, name really big. Signed it over the part of the card that would really stand out. I just love when they're conscientious about where they put the ink on the card. But this looks great overall. I love it. I think he might have an all-star card in the set. And so I might need to kind of revisit that and try and see if I can get that one signed by him. Now, similar to hockey, I kind of wanted to do a couple of sets at the time. This was, 11, 12, 13 years ago. Just because it gives me stuff to send out, it gives me more stuff to accumulate, more ideas. But I found myself doing it all around the same era. And one of them I got was 1989 Upper Deck. And that wasn't so much because I was in love with the set. I think it was just because it was such a premium set back then. I had so few cards of it from when I was a kid just because I couldn't convince my parents to allow me to spend the money on a pack of Upper Deck cards that one would spend on a pack of Upper Deck cards. So I bought that set and figured I'd throw that in there along with the top. So it'd be the same year, a lot of the same players. I also like the look of 1990 Score. And I know not everyone does. But I think the blue ink really pops off of these and really stands out. It looks really cool. So there's that one of Tom Brookins. They have different colored borders. So like this blue one, Mike Bielecki from the Cubs. And then a green border, I've got Scott Bales. I just think I thought at the time the autograph stood out, looked really cool. And then I also did 1987 Donruss. Now that set to me was always kind of at a premium as a kid. And it's kind of weird how your perspective changes over time, because I don't necessarily look at 87 Donruss as like a classic set necessarily. It's got some good cards in it, a cool design. But I remember at the time, even early 90s, so you weren't that far removed, but for, 4, 5, 6 years away from it. But it seemed like not old enough to be like super vintage, but old enough to just be slightly out of reach as far as when you could get them regularly. So the opportunities to get them weren't there that often. Even the card shops, even the local card shops you go to, it was all current product. There wasn't a lot of older stuff. And even to me, as an 11, 12-year-old kid, um, something from 6 years earlier still seemed vintage. But I like the look of it too. So I got a few. I got a set of. Well, no, I don't. I think I got a set. I think I just purchased a box, an unopened box of packs, and just opened them up and compiled what I could. So I don't even know if I ever even completed the set, but I got enough that I could put it together and send a few out with TTM requests. So if you can take a look at them, a few of them. We got Floyd Bannister, great looking signature. Every single letter's on there. Looks great overall. Here's one of Bobby Witt Sr. A thicker bluish Sharpie, but still looks good. And then I always like the Diamond Kings, or any kind of. At the time, I call them art cards. So it basically would be a painting. So it could be like the puzzle that Donruss would do, similar to what I showed earlier, the Upper Deck team checklists. But Diamond Kings, I still think they look great when signed. I got this one from Charlie Huff from the Rangers. And I've got plenty of more, but I was just showing those as an example. And kind of the dilemma there is I wasn't sure how far I wanted to pursue those sets. Now, to this day, I'm still going for the tops, the 1989 tops. But the others, I just don't. Similar to that score set in hockey, I just don't get the same reaction seeing them or going through them as I did back when I was actively getting them. The other trap that I ran into is that because there's those 4 sets, 89 tops, 89 Upper Deck, 87 Donruss, 90 score, where a lot of the players I'm sending to had a card in all 4 of them. So I was finding myself, in a way, limiting myself to what I was sending out. So I would kind of stick to just those sets. But maybe there was a great looking card from 91 Upper Deck. Or maybe I'd have like a 1988 score card of someone that I thought the picture would look really nice. Or maybe there was some Fleer Ultra stuff later on in the 90s that would look good. That might look better aesthetically to be signed than whatever was on his 87 Donruss or 1990 score card. And so I was kind of limiting myself. And so for sure, I kind of abandoned those sets, just sticking with the 89 tops. But I kind of like the idea of doing finding a set from different eras to do. So I had a more modern hockey, I had a childhood hockey. And here I am with a childhood baseball, but I don't quite have that same set in mind for more of a modern baseball. And it doesn't have to be modern as in 2026. It can be more modern as in, back when I started doing this in 2014, 2015. I think Heritage is the easy way to go, but I don't know. I just haven't figured it out yet. But, I don't have to have it figured out. But that's kind of a look at where I'm at. Just some sets that I'm working on. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I started sending out TTM requests again. Got a few back already. And I was going to show them. Here we go. A small stack of envelopes. I was going to show them, but then I'm looking at this and seeing that my video is already almost 30 minutes long, so I don't want to beleaguer that process. Plus, it'll give me an easy source of content later on for another video. So that's where I'm at. I've got a lot of cool ideas. A few things coming up that I'd like to show off. And it's fun to revisit some of this stuff, because really when I was going through the binders to pull out some of these cards, there were some guys that I'd forgotten that I'd even gotten stuff signed by them. Like I'd forgotten, like as good of a player as Patrick Kane is, one of the best American-born players of all time, I forgot that I even had that, because I hadn't looked at it in forever. So that's the nice thing about putting your sets in binders, is you can actually revisit them, and even if it's not like core memories that you're revisiting, just remembering, oh yeah, I forgot that I'd done that. But yeah, that's it for now. I just kind of wanted to show off a little bit of the TTM and in-person projects that I've been working on, and kind of trying to figure out for myself whether to continue or abandon some of those projects. And I think I've got some direction on it. got some ideas, and we'll see where we go from here. But I'm glad to be getting back into things, glad to be making videos, glad to be getting some TTM requests back, and kind of revisiting some of the fun of the hobby. But so that's it for now, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.